Toastmasters for the table topic contest. So tonight we have two contests. We have table topic contest and prepared speech contest. For anyone of you who doesn't know what is table topic is to read the speaking order for the table topic contestant. The first speaker will be Katie. The second will be Brittany. You can make a note in your agenda. The third will be Ganesh. Fourth will be Deja. Fifth will be Fanny. Sixth will be Justin. Seven, Babani. And eight is Sita. I think that this contest is, we have five judges tonight. And the chief judge is Ms. Heidi Green. She is the president of Union City Toastmasters Club, and she's going to read the judging criteria and the judge code ethic. So by saying that, I'd like to call Heidi. Katie is number one. Number two, Brittany. Number three, Ganesh. Katie. Two, Brittany. Third, Ganesh. Fourth, Teja. Five is Fanny. Six, Justin. Seven, Bethany. Eight, Sita.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm excited to be here, and I've been hearing lots of great reports from the leaders, Minji Rovetta and Jing Wang from our club, about how well the students are doing in this. And we're really excited to get to support this kind of effort, because we know that as you go out and become more articulate and more self-confident, then you become better leaders for the future, and we definitely need better leaders. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to review the code of ethics for the judges first. The judges will consciously, just so you all know, you don't actually get to know who the judges are, and that's confidential, so that you won't try to sway them. No, it's part of the Toastmaster ethic. But the way we've designed it is that judges are supposed to avoid any sort of bias whatsoever as they select their first, second, and third choice contestants in each of the contests. They're not going to consider anything like race, sex, creed, national origin, political beliefs, religion, or anything like that. They just base their assessment on how well the person speaks, because that's what we're here about. They also aren't going to be concerned about timing the speeches, and they won't worry about if somebody's under or over time. They're not going to judge them based on that. That's a separate function in the way this works. We have timers and we have judges. So we'll find out when when the timing is done, whether or not someone is disqualified based on going over or under. But the judges won't concern themselves with that. So what I wanted to do is just give you a sense about how this contest is going to work. First, let me tell you about the speaker. This table over here and this front row of seats. We want to give them the maximum possible area so that they can feel comfortable in reaching their audience. Now, if a contestant, say, ends up walking down this aisle, they won't be disqualified. It's just the judges may make note of that as ahead of time, and then we will announce that there was one speaker disqualified on the basis of time, or two, or whatever, but we won't say who that is. That person just won't be the winner. In terms of protests, sometimes people don't like how the judging goes, but the fact is that protests can only be made by contestants, so those of you speaking, or by the judges themselves, sometime before the contestants are announced. So if somebody has a protest that they want to make, they need to come and talk to me or talk to Minji, who is the Toastmaster. Okay, so our first speech is going to be speeches are going to be about table topics. What we're going to be doing is the contestants will be escorted out of the room and although the first person will remain. And so that they don't actually get to see what it is or hear what it is the question is going to be, what it is that they're addressing. So the first person will remain, and they'll come up here, and the question will be posed to them. Then they will go ahead and give their talk, and then they get to sit down in the audience and hear the rest of the table topic speeches. So that's just sort of the design of it. So everyone has the same amount of time to, or same amount of information going into their speech.
Thank you, Heidi. So now we only need the contestant number 1, and the rest of the contestants can be escorted out. We will start the table topic contest.
Sign in the book.
Katie, you are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow, Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa? You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow, Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa?
Fellow Junior Toastmasters, family, and honored guests. The question is, how would I explain to a bunch of kindergartners who believe in Santa that he's not going to show up? Well, to start with, I'd probably freak out when he first called and go all crazy and have no idea what I'm doing. And second, either I would have someone dress up as Santa so that Santa is coming, or I would go tell them, you guys, I'm sorry, but Santa got really busy. There was an accident at the workshop, and so he had to stay there and fix all the toys because everything kind of went wrong and the elves were completely in panic and going crazy everywhere. Which probably would be the one that I would choose. And I would just come up with some other project for them to do while I'm standing in the back going crazy trying to figure out what to do. I really don't know exactly how they would react to this, considering I've never had to explain this to a bunch of kindergartners. I work with 4th and 5th grade, but that's beside the point. I'd probably come up, like I said, I'd probably come up with some craft for them to do, something that maybe they get to make their own little paper Santa, or let them all dress up as Santa and pretend to be Santa, because every little kindergarten likes to Santa, to be him, and whatever else there is to do. Other than that, I'm really not sure what I would do, considering I'm not sure how they would react to it. If it was a group of kids I knew, then I'd probably just tell them that Santa had to stay behind and couldn't come, because I would know how they would react to it. But since if I didn't know the kids, I would definitely freak out. But kind of probably what I'd do. Thank you.
Is it 1 minute done? Is 1 minute done?
Oh. It's not quite accurate. I think that's not right. Sorry.
You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa? You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow, Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa?
I think I would tell the little children that he got really busy and had to make all the other presents for all the little kids around the world, because wouldn't that take like more than a year? Don't you guys think that? how many kids are there in the world? Too many for me to count, just saying. But it would be really hard for me to tell little kids because I've worked with that age group before, and I know that most of them believe in Santa, and it's like, I told them that, I would feel really, really bad. Because, I mean, wouldn't you guys feel bad? Really? Because they're like 4 and 5-year-olds. I would feel terrible. I worked with that age group for like 2 years straight, and I know that they have like really delicate feelings towards some things. Like there was this one little girl who this little boy told her that he didn't like her dress, and she started crying. I felt bad. And then I actually worked at a sports camp here, and they were talking about these 4 and 5-year-old little kids and like kindergarten age and stuff. And okay, this little boy kept making fun of this other little girl for something. And this wasn't at our church, it was a different church. But like he was just kept making fun of her, and so she actually had like a fake leg. She took it off and hit him with it. That sounds like, oh, okay. And everybody else, the rest of the week for sports camp was like, oh my gosh, you have a fake leg, can we play with it? And stuff like that. I think I would feel terrible if I had to tell a little kid that. Thank you.
You are coordinating a holiday party at the kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa? You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa?
Hello, fellow Toastmasters, well, parents of the Toastmasters. My question was, what would I do when Santa just told me that Santa couldn't come and play with the children who believed in him? Well, first, when I was thinking about getting Santa in the first place, I would have a backup plan just in case something like this happens. And at that moment, I would try to hire someone else or take over by myself, even though I never been Santa Claus for little children before. Well, it seems pretty easy, like just sit in a chair and say, ho ho ho, here's your present. But I think it's a lot harder than that. But I would really be sorry for the children, because when I was little, I think I used to believe him. I'm not sure if I did or not, but I know it's a bad feeling for the children if they knew about it. So I would never let them know about it until they grow up, or maybe just tell them. I would take over Santa's role by myself or hire someone else, is what I would do. Thank you.
You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa? You are coordinating a holiday.
So if there was a party that I was hosting for little kindergarten kids, they're only 5-year-olds, and if somehow Santa decides to call me and tell me that he's not going to be there, obviously, first thing I would do is, what? You're not going to be here? How come? You know, I need you. But the second most important thing would be, obviously, to tell the kids, Santa's not going to come. I'm sorry. There's going to be probably a rebellion from the kids. But I'd explain to them, well, you know, Santa's a busy person. He has to go all around the world giving gifts to every single kid. Now, if you had that much work, wouldn't you be stressed out too? So I would tell them that. Or if they don't believe me yet, I'll be like, well, you know, Rudolph, he's kind of sick. He's been running all night. And now he suddenly has to come here. He needs to be ready for Christmas, you know. He has to go around running. He needs to lead everybody with his little red nose. They'll probably believe that, right? And if the kids still keep saying, oh no, I want Santa, I'll tell them, well, he's busy this year. How about we call him back next year? Maybe then he can make it, right? So hopefully the kids believe me, and we can still have a great party with the elves instead of Santa. Thank you very much.
Okay, 1 minute of silence. You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa? You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa?
Okay, my question was that if Santa didn't show up at a party where kindergartners were there and they believed in Santa, I would explain it by, I'd tell them to get together in a circle. I'd get treats for them. I would probably like make them happy, like show them a movie. And then I'd tell them that Santa couldn't come. And then they would probably be sad. So I would also take them out to the movies or something so they can feel better. And so they'll feel better. And I'd probably get them presents, ask them to make a wish list so I can tell them I can be Santa for them. And I would also ask them to we can have like a get together and play games and stuff and have fun for that one night. And like that's it.
We have 1 minute of silence. You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa?
I've got something very disappointing to tell you. I know that we were really excited about having Santa come, and we were going to be able to share with him what we want to do. what we want for this Christmas. What we want is little elves to make up for us. But I'm sorry to say that his reindeer, they ran out of gas, and he's not going to be able to make it to our little party. But I've got something to make up for it, okay? So how about instead of us telling Santa, we'll write him each individual letters, and instead of telling him one thing, we could give him a nice little list of what we want. Well, I think that that's somewhat along the lines of what I would tell my kids if they were to have to cope with the idea of Santa not making it. I would just let them down kind of easy, kind of joke around with them, because at that age they just want to have fun, and they want to make known what they want through telling our fictional Santa. Sadly, he's fictional. We don't have any elves making our toys. But I would just let them know that they can still get into the Christmas spirit and have a great time, and they don't need Santa there to do it. Thank you.
You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa? You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa?
Hello, Toastmasters. The topic I was given is, what will I say to the kindergarteners if Santa wasn't able to attend and he gave me a call saying he wouldn't reach to the class? So the things I would do is, first I would get as many gifts as I can to the children and make them feel comfortable so that Santa, even though Santa wouldn't be there, they'll feel they will feel like it is actually Christmas, and they can instead of Santa, they can feel I'm like Santa or something. I can wear a costume. I can pretend I am Santa, so I can actually play with them and make them sit on my lap or something and make them feel better. So I would make them sit down, and then I'll ask them what would you want for Christmas or something, and I'd say I'll probably give something that I have, which they will actually like, some kind of toys, presents, or what will children actually like, toys, right? So something, I'll just smile at them and say here you go, or have a manly voice or something, so they can actually believe me. So it'll be actually fun because I love little kids and taking care of them. So it'll be really adorable. They will start to talk, and they will be cute because they're little kids and they have they won't know much, right? So I can just have chocolates also just in case they won't cry, go to their mommies. So it'll be fun, I guess, talking with them. Because I have cousins and I have other relatives that actually know me well, and I try to take care of them too. So I have a little bit experience talking to kids. So I actually know a bit how to take care of children. So that might help me along the way. So I can prepare everything and just try it out at my house and everything, so I can go to the kids and help them. Thank you.
Tommy, go ahead. You do it. You're okay.
You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa? You are coordinating a holiday party at a kindergarten where Santa is supposed to attend. Somehow Santa just called and said that he could not come that afternoon. How would you explain this to the children who believe in Santa?
everyone, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. If I was hosting a party for little kindergarteners who believe in Santa, they truly believe that he's gonna come through their chimney, eat their cookies, and leave gifts for them, tiny gifts under their huge Christmas tree, which they struggle to decorate, putting the tiny star on the very top of the tree, and working really hard with every single tiny ornament with their tiny picture in it, and smiling faces, missing teeth, all of that, all in one happy holiday. But then Santa called and said he couldn't come. What should I do? Well, of course, I don't want to disappoint the children. That would be the worst Christmas ever for them. But I don't want to lie to them either. So I would dress up as Mrs. Claus, big fat tummy, white short bushy hair, and come in and say, with my little elf helpers, friends of mine, other kids maybe, and ask them to put on a show. Lights, camera, action, and everything, a play, a Christmas story maybe, like when Jesus was born, or other Christmas carols. Pretend like we're coming up, caroling to them, and ask them for food and money. And I would show them that Christmas doesn't need Santa to be great. Christmas is all about having fun with family and friends, and being together and enjoying your holidays. And that's my
Let's wrap up our table topic contest. Thank you.
Coolest Youth Toastmaster member! Yay! It is a great pride that I will be the Toastmaster for the second part of our contest, the Prepare Speech Contest. We will have 6 contestants and speaking in the following order. Number 1, Samambita. Number 1, Samambita. Number 2, Fate. Number 2, Fate. Number 3, Cheyenne. Number 3, Cheyenne. Number 4, Sriza. Number 4, Sriza. Number 5, Magna. Number 5, Magna. Number 6, Bonnie. Number 6, Bonnie. After 8 weeks of Youth Toastmaster program, these members have had the chance to give 4 prepared speech. They have learned and practiced the different public speaking skills such as organization, body, introduction, body conclusions, gesture, and body movement, vocal variety, and eye contact. The effective use of vocabulary, and of course, to learn to speak from the heart, not from the notes. Each speech will be 4 to 5 minutes long, so our timer will turn on the light, green light when it's 4 minutes, yellow light when it's 4.5 minutes, and red light when it's 5 minutes. After that, you will have 30 seconds to finish your speech. Otherwise, you might be disqualified. So before I start introducing our contest, Samambita, the power of communication, Samambita.
The world is filled with talented people, but only a few people lead us. What would be the reason? The main reason is that these few people have the power of communication. They say it and make us do that. My topic today is the power of communication. When I moved to this country from my motherland, I felt I need to learn a lot. To learn a lot, I need to learn to communicate. I need to communicate. Now, to communicate, I need to learn to communicate. And there comes the Toastmasters International, which gave me a good platform to communicate. Most of us have a misconception that communication is just talking. In fact, I had the same notion until I joined Toastmasters. It is not so. It is actually making people understand what we want to convey either by speech, body language, or gestures. The act of communicating involves verbal, non-verbal, and paraverbal components. The verbal component refers to the content of our message. The non-verbal component refers to the message we send through our body language. And the paraverbal component refers to how we say what we say, the tone, pacing, and volume of our voices. Here's an anecdote. Jack and Max are walking from a religious service. Jack wonders whether it would be alright to smoke while praying. So Max replies, "Why don't you go and ask the priest?" So Jack goes up to the priest and asks the priest, "Priest, may I smoke while I pray?" But the priest says, "No, my son, you may not. That's utter disrespect to our religion." Jack goes back to his friend and tells him what the priest told him. Max replies, "I'm not surprised. You asked the wrong question. Let me try now." And so Max goes up to the priest and asks him, "Priest, may I pray while I smoke?" To which the priest eagerly replies, "Yes, my son, by all means. By all means." The moral of this anecdote is that the reply depends on the question you ask. Moving to the second component, non-verbal communication. It is the primary way that we communicate emotions. Facial expressions, gestures, postures come under this category. The best example to illustrate this could be how a professor comes to know about a student just by observing his or her facial expressions and posture. Now, finally, the paraverbal communication. Without the tone, pitch, and volume of our voices, one cannot clearly understand the content of the message. The sentence, "That is wonderful," does not appeal to the listener, but "That is wonderful" makes the listener more interested in the conversation or speech. So, with these examples, one can understand how important communication is. There are many instances from history. Mahatma Gandhi is followed till today. Napoleon Bonaparte was a dictator, but he had many followers. How? They didn't have any muscles and biceps. But it is the way they communicated and put forth their ideas that convinced the people. This was just from the history. When we look at the present, there is a best and recent example, Steve Jobs. His speech at Stanford is so inspiring, and it's still in circulation. This illustrates the deep impact that effective communication creates on its listeners.
Ladies, gentlemen, moms, this is my speech on the North Star. Have you, at this age, we're all wondering, what are we going to do with our lives? What are we going to be? Some of us have older siblings going to college. Some of our parents have already planned we're going to Yale, or Stanford, or MIT, or some college, and that we're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a ringmaster of a circus. Probably not that last one, though. But we're all thinking, what should we do? Should we follow the path most people take? No. Follow your own path. Follow your North Star. Now, the North Star, it was used by sailors to navigate through the waters of the ocean so they could get to their destination without, wanting to go to Asia when you end up in Africa for some reason. So, then, the North Star, here's a story that shows it in its full potential. It starts off with a boy. He's born on a mountain, all alone. He then sees, with his eyes, the North Star in the sky. And then, he decides, I have a purpose in life. I must go find it. And so he starts to walk on his legs. Well, first he crawls, then he walks on his legs, and heads down the mountain. He then finds a giant lake where he sees a cat. He tells the cat, "Do you know what my purpose is? I need to find it." And the cat replies, "Well, follow the signs." And so he follows these signs that say, go here, go there, this way, that way. And he walks down these, and it's a well-worn path, so he knows other people have gone down it. So he knows it's probably safe, so he thinks. And so he goes to a huge lake again. where he sees a single leaf in the ground. He sees this leaf and looks at its beauty, how it's the only leaf in the water while the others are around it. Then behind him is a rabbit running past him, and the rabbit's going, "I'm late, I'm late." And so he runs off with the rabbit, ignoring the beauty around him. After a while, though, he realizes he's cold, he's hungry, and he's alone. He has no one, and the signs have ended. He's now in a swamp for some reason, and he's all alone. He starts crying by himself. Then a frog comes up to him, and the frog asks, "Why are you crying, my child?" And he tells the frog, "I am alone, I'm sad. I followed the signs other people have taken, but I don't like where I am." The frog then tells him, "I once too followed the signs, and I ended up in this swamp. I didn't like it at first, but I went with the flow, so I ended up staying here and building a house. I'm now stuck here forever." Then a crow comes in, hearing this commotion. He asks, "What is wrong?" And the boy again tells how he is sad and alone. The crow tells him, "Look at the North Star in the sky. Look at it. It is a symbol that you should go follow your own path, not what other people tell you." The boy then took the crow's advice and followed the North Star. He then arrived in a huge ocean where he saw a beach. Then, far down the beach, he saw a boat. He then went into the boat, grabbed its oars, and went down into the ocean, following his own path. It was the beginning of his new life, his own life. He saw the sky, he met friends, he went through the ocean, found new lands. This story tells us that we should follow our own paths, not what people tell us to do, not what people have planned out for us or expect us to do. That's our own choice. And also, with the leaf, it shows that we are all unique. You don't have to do what the other people do, like sit around a lake. You can go in the middle. You are your own person. You want to sit in a lake? Go sit there, and even if people stare at you, just sit in that lake. And also, with the rabbit, that rabbit was just running past them, not even looking at the leaf. He didn't appreciate what was in his life, what was around him that was already there. And so this is why, the next time you're confused what to do in your life, find your North Star.
Thank you, Paige. 1 minute.
Have you ever seen a sport that was so interesting that left you saying, "Wow, I've got to try that sport"? I have. Hi, my name is Cheyenne Lee, and this sport for me was what's called falconry. First of all, in the speech, I will go over what falconry is, what you have to do before you get the bird, and what you do after you get the bird. So, what is falconry? Falconry is a sport that involves hunting and birds, but not just any birds, predatory birds. So, the very first thing that you sense, because this sport, although you are not the one actually killing this animal, your bird is, and you are the one who is instructing the bird on what to do, and you are also assisting in whatever it needs guidance in. The next step you need to do is get your falconry license. Your falconry license is actually just like a driver's permit. You need to read a handbook, and then you take a written test, and then you get your license. The field, and you let them loose, let them go. I hope that this presentation helps.
Hello everyone. Today, I'm gonna tell you about something that will change your lives. And it will cause a revolution. So, one day, I was just walking to the park, and there I saw a beautiful sunset. And actually it was really beautiful. The sun was just amazing. And everybody, there were a lot of children there too. too, and it was extremely loud. This is how one should not speak. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. Do you know why some kids and adults lack this skill? Where do we obtain this skill? Why should we have such skills? And when do we learn these skills? School. School is a foundation, and most people learn there. They acquire skills such as mathematics, English, history, English, etc. Most parents and teachers concentrate on how we should do well in education, because education is important. But one skill that is very important and that lacks in a lot of people, unfortunately, is communication. We need to be able to speak with others well. Say one does do really well in academics. I become a great scientist, an engineer, or a doctor. And say a scientist, he or she, finds an element such as uranium. And they're like, oh my God, this is an element that I found. And the world doesn't even know about it. Then, in order for everyone to be able to know about it, there needs to be good communication. So everybody knows that there's a new element. But if nobody speaks about it and the creator of this element doesn't talk about it, then someone else will find out about uranium and they will get the credit. This is why we need to be able to speak with others well. And programs such as Toastmasters help everyone not only develop communication skills, but also leadership skills. Toastmasters is in over 116 countries, and we have 270,000 members, and they're all training to be better speakers. If we become better communicators, then the gap between us and them will be less. Then the whole world will become one community. Now imagine that you're all back in high school and you're taking all those courses such as math, English, art, and say that there's like Toastmasters, and we were all required to take that. Then each and every single one of us in here will definitely know how to speak well in a very simple, smart, and intelligent way, you know? We'll be able to communicate well. If I want to run for the next Director of Education in California, then I will make sure that each and every child in California gets an opportunity to take such courses like Toastmasters, so they have a chance to improve, so they can be better. So when I run for the next Director of Education in California, will you guys vote for me? Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Has anyone here ever had a pet before? Is it dog? Anyone more specifically?
Dog.
Yes, so you know what it's like. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, judges, friends, parents, and everyone else who's here today. I'm nice to meet you. When I was younger, I always had some sort of fascination with dogs. Books on dog breeds, and I would be able to watch American Kennel Club dog shows whenever they came on TV. I always knew when that was. But I never actually got a dog. And throughout the years, as I've grown older, I learned a lot more about taking care of dogs. From experiences from friends, family members, and most importantly, the internet. Taking care of dogs is fun, but also involves a lot of responsibility. And when a child says, I'll take care of it, a lot of that responsibility somehow gets transferred to the child's parent. Somehow.
a lifetime relationship. Sibling, a lifetime relationship. Bonnie.
Having a good relationship with your siblings affects all stages of your life, starting from as a child, as you grow up into your teen years, and even as an adult with your own children. Now, as a child, learning to get along with your siblings makes you learn many useful traits. Sharing, that is an important trait to learn early on. Learning to interact with others, how to talk with them, communicate, as many people pointed out this evening. I remember different people coming through your life, but being with your siblings, you know them the best, so you will be able to support your siblings. And so, as a conclusion, having a good relationship with your siblings through as a child, in childhood, teenage years, and adult years is a very good idea. Thank you.
2 minutes. Order. You will have a quick interview? Okay. This medal is for participation.
Dixie time. Brittany.
No, if what we'll do in a minute is get the tall ones to stand on the platform.
Let me get the medal ourselves too.
Just look somewhere in the middle.
Good job.
High school's over.
Nice. And? Okay. And our first place winner of table. Excellent. Great speeches. And first place winner.
This is a flat one.
All right, winners, here we go. And tonight, we do not have Sarah, because Sarah is traveling in India. Yeah, so maybe her husband, Mr. Sachis, can tell her our messages for her. All right, so we may have another program like this next year, but we do not know yet. So just contact us, the University Toastmasters, because it seems like Frankat and Sarah seem to have interest to continue for next year. Hopefully we can help more children in the future. Thank you very much. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of the winter program.
सा तत्र नावैक्षत